everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and my studio. Today I am making a card project based on something that I found while setting up this space. For those of you who are wondering, I'm in the process of moving from the craft/dining room fully into my office. I've worked here for years. I'll have more on this coming soon, I promise, but today this is all based on something I found when I was moving. A whole slew of Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I hadn't used these in probably years, so today we're gonna bust them out and use them. There are so many things probably hidden in your stash that you have forgotten about, so I hope this inspires you to dig them out. That video is coming up next. So today's video is all about finding things that you forgot you had. And one of the things I'm in the process of doing right now is moving out of the craft/dining room into this new studio space. And one of the things that I found was this bag of Zig, what are they called? Clean Color Real Brush markers. Now, I don't even know, I have not used these in forever. They were up on a shelf. I kind of forgot about them. I love this bag. I wish I could link it, but I don't believe it's available anymore, at least not in the US. So I am going to do something fun with these, I hope, using this beautiful embossing folder called Glistening Snowflakes and this stamp set, which is a really big stamp set just full of holiday blessings and greetings, and of course there are coordinating dies. It's a huge set, and I think this would be a great set year in and year out for holiday projects. So I'm going to get set up to paint with the recently recovered markers. So what I'm going to do first is paint an area where I'm going to be die cutting this out. I haven't done much with these combo sets, so I'm kind of excited to try this. And I just pulled a few colors. I have, what is this? Light blue, light violet, lilac, and blue. I really, it's been years. I will try to throw a card up from an old video because when I first got these, I thought they were so cool. And I did so many, well, not so many. I did things with them. And now I don't even know if they're still, oh, look at that. There's still color in there. All right, this is good. This is good. So we're just gonna put some colors down here on my palette. And I love this palette from Art Impressions. I haven't used this in a while. It's really nice. It's easy to clean. Oh, that's a very pale color. I just want cool colors, right? I want them to be cool and then come in with some blue. And maybe what we'll do is I'm going to take this is a number 8 brush, pick up some clean water. I guess I'll just start here like this and just sort of potch some in here like that. Now this is not watercolor paper, right? We're not going too fancy. So it's going to be, you know, what it is. But I think it's going to make for a pretty star once it dries. All right. Oh, clean water. And bring in some of this. We'll just come around the edge. I haven't painted much lately. I mean, not even with distress inks. Now we're going to bring this in, and it might be way too dark, but I don't know. We're going to see. We're going to see how it all looks. Water that down a little bit more. Okay. It's kind of looking like a geode right now, right? Or I don't know if that's what they're called, but coming in on the outer edge like that. Then I'm going to come back in with a little more purple. Because I think this will make a really nice snowflake. Will we see? Well, we're gonna see. Got a little much water in there. We're just potching it up, and I think let's pop the die out and see. But I just want to make sure if I die cut the whole thing, I need a little more color on the edges. So come out here Mix in a little there, and we'll just get a little bit more out on the edges. The thing that's fun about these is you can just kind of be messy. It doesn't have to be, right, the greatest painting of all time to make a really beautiful piece. Now, what I'm going to do is grab my Ranger heat tool, and let's just make sure, I think that's enough, right? I can get it in there. Well, you know what? Better safe than sorry. Let's bring out, and you can lighten it, right, by just pulling out the color here. Well, just better safe than sorry. Get it a little bit bigger. And actually, I'm going to take just a tiny bit more of the lilac here. Put a little more in there just for some variation. I kind of think that's a cool look. All right, I don't want to heat this directly on my mat, so I'll hold it up a bit and we'll just help it dry. All right, that is a beautiful, dreamy, sort of galaxy almost looking thing. Or it's a hot mess. Hard to say. All right, gonna let that set for a second and move on. Now that this is dry enough, what I'm going to do is open my embossing folder, and you want to make sure the bumpy side is on the bottom when you are pushing a design up into that, right? So that's what we're going to do here. And I actually have the new universal plates. And what I have found that works for me is platform A and platform B, and that's it. That's all I need with the Simon Says stamp folders. Of course, it's always a good idea to check what yours says, the manufacturer recommendations, but that is what is working right now for me. So here's what I'm going to do. Well, the most important part, obviously, is to line up the star so that I get color on all of it. Can you see that? And it doesn't have to be straight, right? Because we're die cutting this out. So let's get that in there. Close it and make sure that your star is encompassed. And then all we're going to do is put it in the center. These new plates have sort of this raised pressure area to sort of level out with the rollers. And we're just going to run it through. It's a little squeaky. Now, you could do another piece of cardstock if you want to get a more intense look. This isn't super tight going through, but I kind of like that. But wait till you see how pretty this looks when you take it out. So you have your beautiful little snowflake all you know what I mean. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut this out with the coordinating die. So I went ahead and ran that through my Gemini so you can still see the texture. It did maybe flatten it a tiny bit, but I think that's okay. I think that's okay. So let's move on. I'm also going to cut out one of the dies that coordinates just for the snowflake. So let's go cut this out. And let's take a look at how this looks. I don't know how much poking I'll have to do. Which side is my pokey side? There we go. Let's kind of poke that through so that I have at least one beautiful snowflake. I'm actually not sure completely what I'm doing yet. Haven't decided. And that's the fun of playing and making, and I just don't know. But I do have that. And actually though, that's really pretty too. I should save that for something. But what I might do is I might do a couple more and build up some dimension onto this flake and actually have this be in the background. I don't think I want to use the little inserts here, although I could, right? I could place those in. That would be a little ticky-tack. Let me think on that. I'm going to cut out a few more. I'm going to use some spray adhesive to glue these two pieces together, okay, so that I have a little dimension, and I'm just going to spray this in my little spray box just off camera. And then I will go ahead and, well, let's see, how are we going to do this? Carefully stack it to the best of my ability. That looks not bad. Just to build a little dimension like that. Okay. Very nice. And that is going to glue right onto this piece. So I think I'll do that with some liquid glue. Actually, I changed my mind. I decided to do it with spray glue just because it's fast. We can get it perfectly lined up very quickly. There's no oozing. Let me get you right on here to the best of my ability. Come on there. Get over there like that, right onto that embossed part and press. And I'm a little misaligned here, but you know what? Nobody's gonna look at that and say, Cathy, what were you thinking over there? I still think it's gonna be gorgeous. And then I think I will take my liquid glue, right? And we're just gonna put a little bit here on each of these little areas. Oh, it's a little stringy. What happened there? I don't know. It'll dry clear. It'll be fine. Okay. And then I will pick up the parts of the star. Or it's a snowflake, right? Does it go this way? I think it goes that way. Yes, it does. Pop you there and import in like that, right? Just get that over a little bit. Press. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to do another layer though, because I feel like if I just fill in with one layer of cardstock, there's my little goose out there. That's okay. Scrape that away. It'll give that extra different layers of dimension. Just make sure that you've got the die cut side down. This is very pretty. This was not what I thought I was going to be doing. Okay. Pick you up. Sorry for the whispering. Sometimes I whisper when I concentrate. It just, it's almost involuntary. So trust me when I say I will never say anything that you need to hear. It's all on a need to know basis. All right, let's get you in here and press. I like this tool a lot. I've only had it for a couple of weeks and it's pretty cool. Okay. I'm going to let that dry. Because lately I can't seem to stop making things shiny, I think I'm going to spray some of this product onto the snowflake. So I'm going to take this friend, right, which looks pretty cute, right, with that dreamy sort of background, and I'm going to spray glitter dust on it just see what happens. So I'm going to do that off camera. We're going to let that dry, and then we're going to move on. All right, I'm trying to show this a little if I can, but the spray has been sprayed. It's a little shiny, hard to see, but trust. While I wait for that to dry, I went ahead and trimmed a piece of Neenah Solar White Classic Crest in the 110-2, 3 3/4 by 5, because this is going to be the panel that I'm going to mount my star on. So next, I suppose I can pick out a greeting, and I need to run and grab some cardstock. So I'll do that, and then we'll stamp and die cut our greeting. I thought while the glitter was drying, I would make another little pretty background, but this time I just took the panel that I cut the star out of, trimmed it down to, I think this is a 4 by 5 1/4, because this I'm going to pop up onto a panel just to have that pretty little blend come in. And I should have done this while I was filming, but I took my marker and did some swipes and then watered that down. So I guess I'm going to make 2 cards today. Now I'm going to go get cardstock. I want to show you something that's a new thing in my studio, and that is I bought some of these little Verriera boxes from IKEA. They're super cheap, and I'm going to be keeping cardstock in them. Right now, all I have are a bunch of panels that I cut myself of Neenah 110 pound. I don't have any 80, but I do have back here, and I haven't made the label for it. It's a little collection pack that you can get from Simon Says Stamp. Card fronts, right? But it's all their colors, and it's a great way to test out a line of cardstock if you've never used it before. So for this card, I actually think that the lavender would make a beautiful base for this. It would also be beautiful for my greeting, or let's get out one of my favorites as well. Is that the fog? Yes, fog. I'll show you how pretty this is. Fog is also really pretty for a card base, and of course I'm going to have my little pretty friend behind it, although I might do this on white. But I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greetings for each card on the lavender and see how that looks. So let me get set up for stamping. All right, I've got my 2 greetings here. I'll go ahead and pick these up with the Misty Door reposition. I'll grab my Debbie press tool, and I'm just gonna rub my finger over this a little to prime it because they're brand new. They've never been stamped with, and I just want to get a nice greeting, but I don't want to press too hard or overstamp because these are so delicate. All right, I'll take my anti-static powder at my paper just to remove oil and static, and Versamark, my watermark ink, my sticky embossing ink. All right, and let's bring it down and gently, well, I'm not gently pressing, I'm just adding really even pressure like that, not giving it like the CPR kind of pressure. That actually looks really good. I love when you can actually see it. I think I'm going to do just the light tap like this. Tap, tap. Okay. Just for a little more ink. And I will wipe this off while I'm here with my stamp chamois. And I will put those away later. All right. Now we can add our powder. Let me grab my little embossing clothespin. Also, these are available at the same place now that I get the Debbie tools. So this was made by a woman who has a company called Refined Crafts, and I just think it's very cute. I mean, not that you need a reminder of what you're doing, but why not? Alabaster white, Brutus Monroe, and we'll just sprinkle this on. Let that sit for a minute. I could have done silver too, but I just kind of thought, you know what? I think this will be nice. Right? And that looks pretty good. I don't think I need more. I think we're okay. Yeah, but you know what? I always do it, so let's just do it. All right, a little more. All right. And that looks good. All right. Funnel this back in. Like that. All right, I'm going to take a Swiffer cloth here, wipe up all the powder, and I guess I could give a little blow on this. Oh gosh, I had way more than I thought. I kind of missed the mark. All right, that looks really good. Okay, let's melt the powder. Look at that. So quick and easy, and look at all the detail was held very nicely. If you ever have issues with your embossing, right, don't forget, try some anti-static powder. Use a fine detail powder that doesn't puff up on you too much, and don't overheat it, right? You want to get the tool hot and then work quickly, and there you go. Let me get the coordinating dies and I will cut these out. Took me a while to find the dies, but it's because there's a ton in that set. I mean, it's a huge set. So you would be using something like this, I think, for years and years. It's just so all-purpose. The script is so beautiful. And just hold that in place while I tape it down. All right, and now I will grab my Gemini plates. And we always cut into the same plate with this setup. And I learned this again from Jennifer McGuire, and I will link to her video below. And let's take a look at our pretties. Okay, pop in. I think this actually, I'm not sure. Let's get my pokey tool out here. Oh, look how cute that is. It's so tiny and cute. But look at how sweet these little greetings are. I think that's so cute. All right, moving on to card builds. I'm gonna go ahead and score my note cards. This will be scoring at the top. So a little top folding USA 2. There's one score. Let's do our other note card. And again, these are 11 inches by 4 1/4, scoring at 5 1/2. Okay. Then I will just take my Teflon bone folder here. Come here now. And give that a nice press. I love this, the shape of this bone folder because it has this sort of nice smooth edge and it just glides over the cardstock. Never leaves a sheen if you've ever had a sheen happen. You see it mostly on darker cardstocks, but I just love this. All right, now, looks like I cut this a little bit off. Let's see if I can fix that. Oh, I must have pulled a scrap that was not in the perfect realm. Well, let's see. Which one was I going to use this on? This guy and this guy? Let's see. Well, that's, you know what? I'm going to put this in the scrap bin and recut it. I did a bad job. Actually, no, I'm going to keep it because you can see it here, and all I need to do is just bring my little baby trimmer in here, line that up about right there, cut. Is that better? Yeah, it's a little better. And I'll just take it off the back. And no one has to be the wiser, and it's still going to look great on the note card. Yeah, you know, sometimes I think I want to redo something, and then I realize, you don't need to, Cath. You're good. Okay, so you're here. Oh, I need to get my pretty panel, so let me do that. I'm going to tape this closed, okay? That's just how I like to do it because I like to see everything I'm doing at once. I've had my panel in my little flattening book. There it is. Looks pretty good. All I want to make sure here is that I get this, and actually, you know what I'm going to do? I don't think I can really go wrong here, but I'm going to, I just want to glue this little panel down, so I guess I'll just put it right in the center. It's going to be fine. So we'll take some tape runner. This is just from Alta New. Like that. Then we'll just pop this right in the center, like that. And before I fully commit, oh yeah, it's going to be just fine. Yep. All right. Press that down. Now, I have put foam squares foam tape all over the back. I do not have the patience or the wherewithal to do that in the center. I probably should. Oh, should I cut some? Let me see if I have the patience. I'm using ThermaWeb tape today. This is a thinner loft. See that? Not quite as thick. And I feel like each one of these would be perfect, but here's what's going to happen. It has to be sliver thin, and then we got to take that off, right? Get that off there and place it, like that, just to support the centers. I'm going to go ahead and do that just on the innards. It's going to take a minute, so I'll do that off camera. So I'm only going to do one side each. See that there? I feel like that's just going to give a little support in the middle. So let's mount this on first and press. Oh, I forgot to take the tape off the other pieces. Cathy, sometimes Sometimes when you're so constant, I couldn't figure out why is nothing sticking. All right, friends, we're gonna, oh gosh, now everything's sticking. We're gonna take these off as well. Sometimes that's helpful. Let's try that again. Look at the top, look at the bottom, look at the sides, and press. Oh, I think that's so pretty. I'll do this one too. While I'm here, again, I have the same thin foam tape on the back just because I've already got some dimension. And sometimes I just like a little dimension, right? We don't need, you know. And look at that beautiful panel. It's a little, and I'm okay if it's a little off. I think it's going to be just fine. Okay. Like that. Yay. I am going to put some tape on the back of this as well for a little dimension, right? I like that idea. And then now one of my points, well actually a couple of my points looked a little lighter and whiter, but I think I'm going to put that one at the bottom. And see, that just gives it a bit more dimension. So now I do have to figure out which greeting goes where. And initially, I actually think, the smaller greeting is better here and the larger greeting is better here. So let me add tape to the back here. I am mildly obsessed with both of these, but I gravitate towards this one. Just gonna say it. I am going to add a little liquid adhesive just so I can wiggle. But these greetings, I've been, I've had them in my stash of goodness to use since this Simon release came out, and oh my goodness, I think they're wonderful. Like, they're just small and elegant. They don't take away from anything you're doing, but yet at the same time, look at that. We're just gonna pop it right here as if it was meant to be. And I am glad I put the foam squares there in the middle. I think that's just fine. Oh, so cute. And let's add this piece, and this should be pretty easy to line up. This would make a beautiful like little ornament too, but I don't know, can you see the shine? That is one thing I've noticed up here in this office. It's a little harder when you're just relying on studio light alone. It's a little harder to show the shine, but we'll figure it out. So I'm going to line it up right on top of the embossed little placeholder there. Oh, so cute. And we'll pop this in the center. I think we're going to pop it in the center. Don't stick to the nails. There we go. And like that. Just a little dab. Okay. Because I like how everything is shifted up. And then Marion Bright fits perfectly in the center here, right like that. Very, very elegant and subtle. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna get some shine. And I think Prism, look at that color. This calls for Confetti Moonstone. And I think this will be perfect. So these sequins, they change color, right? But it's totally the color that I'm using here, this whole dreamy scape, if you will. So let's see if I can get in here. And we'll just boop. Little holiday, boop. Oh my goodness. Boop. Boop. And boop. Oh my goodness, that's pretty. Let's come over here. You're getting extra boop time today. Boop. 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 I know. Boop. And the last one. Little whisper. Boop. 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 There we go. And those are the finished card projects. I am mildly obsessed. I love this idea of the coordinated embossing folder And then of course there's extra shine in that dreamy scape of a background. And look at this one. Oh, I mean, that's just simple elegance, right? You don't need a lot. It's all clustered here. The colors work so well together. In fact, you know, the greeting here is really picking up that transition between the light purpley lavenders and the dark blues. So I could not be happier. Again, how fun to pull out a product I haven't used literally in years. And by years, I mean, I started making cards in 2015 or 2017, but I don't remember the last time I used these. And this, again, reorganizing my space reminded me there's some cute products waiting to be used. You can find links to all of the supplies I used in today's video below in the YouTube description box. If you're watching on a phone and you wonder how to access the description box, just look for the little tiny down pointing caret that shows up below the video when you are in portrait mode. Same thing with the iPad. It's a little trickier to find on devices, but it's there and you can shop with my affiliate links. Here are a few more videos that I managed to find using Zig Clean Color markers. They are older videos, but you might find, well, a little bit of inspiration in there. I've definitely learned a lot about card making since then, but I guess I forgot about these markers. I'll see you in those videos.